But first question, very important one with the Tech Emmy. Where in the house do you put it? Is it
so we're getting is this working? Is it working? Can you hear me? Excellent. All right. So we're getting the statues in the middle of April. Here we go. We're getting the statues in the middle of April. I can't wait for that. I've been touting my kids, right? Of hey, Daddy's got an Emmy and all that. So it'll be cool.
All right, you can take it around town.
That's right.
To dinner. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be walking around with this.
All
No,
right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm so delighted and so elated for the team that has worked so very hard again across us and Harmonic and Intel that really enabled all of that to come together. It's humbling to be a part of that team.
All right. Well, good. And it was good. I thought it was good that you updated us a little bit on the DAA deployment with the remote PHY nodes. You said 83,000, 1,500 to 2,000 per week. What's kind of the biggest challenge right now in terms of ramping that up, right? Because we're still hearing about supply chain, labor, all those sorts of things. How are you kind of meeting?
I can sit here and say what issues, that there are absolutely no issues. But look, it's been a challenging last 3 years, whether it's labor, whether it's supply chain, or whether it's hardening the technology to be able to scale to this level, because that is not trivial. Okay, if you really think about what it takes in order to deploy this many digital nodes in a week, right? You need to make sure that the time spent in the field is truly optimized. You can't have technicians in bucket trucks waiting for a head end, to provision something, right? And so all of that is something that we worked out, and I'm extraordinarily proud of the women and men that we have out there today, every day in the field, executing this upgrade like no other. So it's really, really exciting to see come together.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be kind of the pace going forward then, or do you still need to ramp it up, or is this the pace that's going to get you to the end of the deployment in time for
So what we
your target?
announced is that by the end of 25, we'll be across 50 million homes. You could do the, you could do the math, right? There's enough engineers here on Pi Day.
All right. And then you had mentioned the FDX amplifier. I think it would be interesting to talk a little bit more about how critical that piece of the network has become for your approach for DOCSIS 4.0, because it does kind of change the game in terms of deployment, because in the past it was like, it's got to be N+0, but this changes things. You had an announcement not too long ago about kind of the status. So maybe give us a little bit of update on where you are with that.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to see that piece of the DOCSIS 4.0 ecosystem come together. We just announced that we have the very first amplifier prototypes that we are, in our labs testing in an N+6 configuration. We showed N+6 at SCTE, but that was still with the Broadcom, pre-production. This is a real amplifier, which we partnered with CommScope to build for the first ones, and the performance is incredible. It really is. It gives us, complete confidence in our ability to deploy the multiple gigabit symmetrical services with N+6 and have all that telemetry and all that game-changing capabilities in terms of automation in very large scale.
All right. Does N+6 get you to the vast majority of your plant, or could you even go beyond that if you needed to?
There's no magic in the N+6, right?
Okay.
It's really around what speed do you want to have at the end of that cascade, right? And with it, the cascade work with an N+8, yes. Okay. Will you be able to run 5 gig symmetrical? No. Okay. And so it's really the modulation that you're going to be able to to handle. By the way, that's no different than other split technologies and how you maintain those. And so at the end of it, the reason why we landed on N+6 is that it covers the overwhelming vast majority of our footprint without needing to execute a cascade reduction. And as we continue to push fiber deeper into the network, obviously that will happen in natural cause.
Okay. And I like the slide where you compared the two types of cables, and right from the outside looking in, it's like, okay, they look exactly the same. But at the same time, you are working on the ability to also cut a fiber in off the node so that you can also do fiber to the premises kind of on a targeted basis, and some of that has happened here. So talk through a little bit about strategically or maybe technically how that's put together and what it means for you strategically, and maybe some potential use cases.
Yeah, definitely. So, we announced this as well. This VB&G technology is live right here in Denver, feeding real live subscribers, offering our, gig services. And the exciting piece about that is the optionality that it gives us, okay? And so, as you're going to edge outs, or you're going to, more rural areas where home density is low, right? You don't want to build, N+20 in those areas. It doesn't make any sense, right? As you look at, some MDUs, or if you look at business services, et cetera, there's a world of optionality that this technology gives us, but it gives us completely transparency. There's no new operations team that needs to be spun up in order to operationalize it. There's no new telemetry. There's no new alarming. There's no new anything. It just works. And the transformational capabilities that it gives us, having that seamless optionality, is what we're very excited about. And obviously, when you look at our challenges of our competitors, and everyone's seen the announcements from Lumen to AT&T to everyone scaling back the fiber construction, guess what? It costs a lot of money to build, and it's hard to scale. And so I think having that flexibility and having that functionality is a great tool for us.
Yeah, and then what are the next steps? Because you're showing it or have it available and live here in Denver. So as far as next steps, whether it's in rural or cutting it into somebody who needs
this technology
that kind of
will be deployed everywhere. It'll be technology that we deploy nationally.
Okay, gotcha. And then when we talk about 10G, of course, a lot of the focus tends to be on speeds and feeds because the market loves to talk about speeds and feeds. But you did talk a lot about the importance of visibility and real-time visibility. So you provided some pretty good examples, but is that deployed everywhere right now, or how are you kind of phasing that in?
As we're rolling out the 10G network and the DAA architecture that deploys from day one, there isn't a single thing that is not real live down to the second visibility across this entire architecture. And so that's what enables and that's what empowers the 10G network launches across the board.
Okay, and how about the same thing for low latency, right? Because you can do that on 3.1, you're going to be able to do it on 4.0. So to actually deliver that capability, is that another one that just kind of goes hand in hand, or where does it kind of fit in to the cadence of what you're deploying right now?
Yeah, so we're excited to be able to launch this on our virtualized architecture, and that's all the innovation that will continue to come on that architecture is ahead of us.
Okay. And I know this is not an engineering question. Any visibility in terms of how this is going to be marketed? Is it just going to be part of the service, or is that going to be up to the marketing people?
You're asking the network guy, how it's going to...
Did they give you a hint or anything?
You know what? I'm going to leave it to our incredible marketing team.
Okay.
But you already see the 10G advertising that we started to do. If you watch the Super Bowl third quarter, that game could have ended a little better for us, but third quarter we ran the very first 10G advertisement, and it was a very, very exciting moment for me.
Okay. And the last thing, this is kind of just to backtrack a bit, right? Because you've been involved in a lot of big transitional moves by Comcast, whether it was analog reclamation, the cloud DVR, and so forth. What's kind of just give us like the quick origins of why you decided like virtualization was going to be key to everything? Because I remember hearing about this many, many years ago, like it was just an idea, but what was it about that you're like, hey, we need to do this?
I will tell you that there were, lots of folks, some of them in this room today, who said, never run on general compute, right? That'll never happen. And, I'm sure everyone has heard of a service called AWS.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I think that argument has been settled, right? And so, there was a lot of there were a lot of dynamics on why this should not happen, and one great reason why it should happen. And this is really about how you deliver the next generation of connectivity services, like you're seeing today. And it's exciting to be able to see it come together in this scale, and it's exciting to be able to be a part of an incredible team that has worked. I can't even begin to describe how hard in order to build this technology, mature it, and roll it out everywhere. Really exciting.
All right. Okay, great. Well, I think that's where we're going to have to leave it for today because our time is running out. So please join me in thanking Elad for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's great having you.